Good afternoon, everyone. It is the 9th of April down here in Southwest Virginia, and I want to make a little video here about field bindweed. This plant that you see growing here, and you can see how it binds along the stalk of other plants, and it'll grow up and it'll smother that plant and take all the light, and it'll wind up killing your plants. So here's another one over here. You can see how it's wrapping around that asparagus stalk, and it's starting to climb up that plant. And over there's another one, and here's one that it's really quite attached to that plant and so forth. I've been going through these asparagus and I've been digging out some of this bindweed. Once it gets started, it's really tough to kill this stuff. But just like any other plant, you can definitely kill it if you keep pulling the green portions off the top. Then the root will die because it cannot replenish itself, so the root will eventually die. A lot of people kill a lot of plants like that, a lot of flowers and asparagus and so forth. Once they've finished doing what people want them to do, they cut them down, and you can't do that. You've got to let these plants grow. Otherwise, the root system will eventually die. So you got to let the green tops, like asparagus here, you got to let these guys grow all year round because they're replenishing the root. And if you keep all the weeds out of them, then they will, the roots will replenish themselves really, really nicely, and you'll have a nice crop of asparagus next year to eat. So what I've been doing, I've been going through, if you take a look down there, there's no bindweed in there. I've got all the weeds out of there. What I'm doing is I'm digging down to the root, and I'm taking the roots out of these systems. The roots are long, like rhizomes. They're a long root that runs under the ground, and their roots are segmented. And if you take and chop these up with a rotor tiller, what you're doing is you're chopping up a segmented root, and each little segment of that root will come back and produce a plant. So basically, the only way to get rid of these guys, one of the best ways to get rid of them, is to dig the root system out totally and throw them away. And that way, you know, they won't have anything under the ground to come back up. You can also keep pulling the tops of them off, like I said, and that will kill them. But you got to keep pulling tops, keep pulling tops, keep pulling tops. I find it easier to just go ahead and get rid of the root system, or most of it, as best you can, and that way the plants won't be coming back. This section right here of the garden, this lower end, has this bindweed pretty well established in it because I let the thing go for like 5 or 6 years and didn't work it really the way I should have. So the bindweed took over. Once you get on up in there in the garden, there's no bindweed up in there. So I'm fortunate in that regard that it's only down here. But I've been digging the roots out. Another thing you can do is, like I said, keep pulling the tops, and eventually the root system will die. Another thing you can do, you can use weed killer. You can use something like weed and feed, which will kill the root system. I kind of hate to do that around my garden plants, so I'm just digging the root system out as best I can. And what I can't get out, I will take and keep pulling the tops of the plant, and the roots will eventually die. This bindweed is in the morning glory family, and the morning glory also, they have these roots that are long segmented roots, and they run under the ground. They may be like an inch down under the ground. They may be 3 or 4 inches down under the ground. but they're long segmented roots, and it's hard to kill. But if you work on it, just like any other plant, if you work on eradication, you can get rid of it. But if you let it go for a few years, those roots can get really really immense, really tough, and a plant can be really hard to get rid of. So anyway, that's a little bit about bindweed, which grows up on your plants like that. You can see on that asparagus stalk. So I'm getting ready to dig these guys out. Just wanted to do this little video to let you guys know about bindweed. Some of the roots that I've dug out of bindweed have been like a foot long, some of them like even 2 foot. They can even grow longer than that. A segmented root called a rhizome, I believe that's what you call them, and they run under the ground, and they'll run long distances. So what you need to do is dig that root system out and destroy it, and you won't be having any problems with these plants coming back anymore. They generally come back from the root system. I suppose they could come back from seed also. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close out this video now. I hope you enjoyed the video and all my videos on gardening and all my other videos. If you do, please subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and you folks have a nice day.